Okay, let's just dive right into it. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating explainer that's going to completely flip everything you thought you knew about dog training. If you've ever felt like your furry best friend is literally just ignoring you on purpose, trust me, you're not alone. We're going to look at the actual patterns of communication between us and our dogs and figure out why they might not actually be ignoring you at all.
Seriously, what if your dog isn't stubborn? It's a massive paradigm shift, right? We're about to explore how almost every dog owner, myself included at one point, accidentally creates the exact disobedience we get so incredibly frustrated by. Think about it. What if the stubbornness is entirely in our heads? Let's jump into section 1, the illusion of defiance.
So he knows the command, he just doesn't want to listen. Sound familiar? It's something almost all of us have laughed about with friends or, muttered under our breath at the dog park. We call our dogs hard-headed or maybe a little dramatic. But over time, relying on this assumption builds this dangerous, unspoken tension between you and your pet. It kind of makes you adversaries instead of a team.
And here's the real disconnect. While we humans assume outright defiance, dogs are actually just hearing meaningless sounds. Remember, dogs do not speak our language. They don't naturally know what the word sit or stay means. To them, these are literally just empty noises until we attach clear, consistent meaning to them.
Moving on to section 2, lost in translation.
Imagine this scenario for a second. You're dropped into a foreign country where nobody speaks your language. Every day, these giants shout changing words at you with totally different emotional energies. Sometimes they smile, sometimes they scowl. You wouldn't suddenly become disobedient. You'd just become incredibly confused.
Think about the tiny, everyday mistakes we all make. One day you say, come. The next it's, get over here. Then you clap. Then you whistle, maybe off key. To us, these feel like the exact same command, but to a dog, these are completely different signals. You're basically forcing them to read a constantly changing rulebook, and that just utterly destroys their confidence.
Which brings us to section 3, accidental sabotage.
Dogs are absolute masters at reading emotional pressure. Let's say you give a command and your dog hesitates for, just 2 seconds because they're trying to figure out what you want. You get frustrated. Your voice changes, your body language instantly gets tense. Well, dogs read this pressure long before they understand your words. Now the dog associates training with stress, and their performance just instantly drops.
Here's a classic example. If your dog jumps up on you and you push them away while saying down, you probably think you're correcting them, right? But look at it from the dog's incredibly logical perspective. You're giving them physical touch, eye contact, and emotional attention. Dogs repeat behaviors that produce outcomes, so meaning you're accidentally rewarding the exact jump you're trying to stop.
And oh man, the sabotage gets even worse when the whole family gets involved. Imagine trying to win a game where the rules change every single day without any warning whatsoever. One person allows the dog on the couch, another punishes it. Someone laughs when the dog jumps, someone else gets furious. That compounded weight of changing signals is exactly what your dog is navigating every single day.
And if you're yelling, sit, 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 louder and louder, thinking that sheer volume creates understanding, you're falling into a massive trap. You're actually teaching your dog that commands are entirely optional until you start yelling. You've basically taught them that the first request is just background noise.
All right, section 4, the environment trap.
So, we often expect our dogs to automatically generalize commands everywhere. We think, well, sit in the quiet kitchen, so obviously you must know sit on a busy sidewalk. This is known as the generalization gap. Dogs simply don't naturally learn that way. A command actually has to be retaught in multiple environments before it becomes truly reliable.
When you step outside, the dog's brain just becomes totally overloaded by new smells, sounds, and movements. Their focus is split in 10 different directions. That command that was so perfectly easy in your living room is now competing with a massive amount of highly stimulating information. They aren't ignoring you. Their mental bandwidth is literally just completely maxed out.
And then there's the critical issue of timing. Because dogs live entirely in the present moment, our human timing is honestly often terrible. If you call your dog, they ignore you for 30 seconds, and then you punish them when they finally trot over to you. Think about it. What did you just teach them? You taught them that approaching you is unsafe. You just punished the return. And that completely destroys reliable communication.
We also accidentally sabotage our own commands by poisoning them. Think about it. If you only call your dog right before bath time, nail trimming, or getting scolded, what happens? The command, come here, becomes a predictor of really bad experiences.
Avoiding you suddenly makes perfect, logical sense to them.
Let's move to Section 5, the power of clarity.
If you see your dog rapidly cycling through behaviors like, sit, paw, spin, bark, they really aren't trying to annoy you. They're desperately guessing. They're taking a test where the teacher keeps changing the answers. They're just trying to figure out what earns success, and they're stressed out because the pattern just isn't clear.
Calmness creates clarity. Emotional reactions just create noise. Real dog training isn't about those instant magical breakthroughs you see heavily edited on social media. It's not about dominance or shouting. It's about ordinary daily consistency and keeping your energy stable. A frustrated owner creates pressure, and pressure creates hesitation.
Rebuilding this bond requires a step-by-step approach, totally without fear. It starts with Step 1, clarity of your signals. Then Step 2, patience to let them process. Step 3, thousands of tiny repetitions. And finally, Step 4, trust. When a dog's environment becomes predictable, the world makes sense. Their confidence absolutely explodes, and they learn so much faster.
To fix this, there's a single mindset shift that transforms everything. Stop assuming bad intentions. Instead of crossing your arms and asking why your dog is so incredibly stubborn, approach their behavior with genuine curiosity. Ask yourself, what might my dog be confused about in this exact moment? How am I failing to communicate?
Dogs spend their entire lives adapting to our routines, our movements, and our totally bizarre human energy patterns. Your dog is not a disobedient animal, but a creature trying their absolute best to understand you. Once you provide clearer patterns and calmer leadership, your dog finally understands the game you've been asking them to play all along. So think about it. What if your dog isn't failing your test, but you're failing to teach the curriculum? How are you going to change your communication today?